Yehudi. Right? But they're not worship songs directly to Yahweh. They're not singing at Yahweh, talking to Yahweh. Some of this music that I left behind that used to get me so full of love, peace, joy. For the kingdom of Yahweh is not meat and drink only, but righteousness, joy, and shalom in the Ruach HaKodesh. I lost that. And that's one of the reasons I didn't hang out with Nina's friends. Not the only reason, because some of them are paying the tuchas. But that's part of it, because I don't want to sit there all day and hear about, well, I went to church, and then I got, and Jesus showed me, I was so turned off by that I lost the spirit behind. Those who write that stuff, they're just worshiping, they're talking to Yahweh. They're not talking about the land of Israel. They're not talking about Aliyah. They're not talking about the immigration or a rabbi who lived in the 20th century. They're praising the real rabbi, Yeshua Sid Rabban. Listen to their music and listen to some of the Nazarene music. See if there's a difference. We don't sing to Yahweh, we sing about Yahweh. Listen carefully. A lot of their songs sing and talk as if Yahweh was sitting right next to them. We talk about a doctrine or about the beauty of Shabbat, but we don't sing it and talk it to Yahweh. But we sing about the beauty of Shabbat. But how about the creator of Shabbat? You got to humble yourself under the mighty hand of Yahweh, and you'll hear the difference. You will hear the difference. Even a song like How Great Thou Art. Let's sing it. Then sings my soul. Don't laugh. My Savior Yah to thee. How great thou art. How great is keeping kosher. Then sings my soul. Give me what time to light the candles. I just don't know. I just don't know. Struck a nerve, right? See the difference? Yes. See the difference?
Yes.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Okay, look at verse 33. For I was a stranger, you took me not in. Naked, you clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visited me not. Then they will answer him, saying, Our master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or in prison, and did not attend to you? He says, Then he shall answer them, saying, Truly I say to you, insofar as you did it not to the least of these, my Israelite brothers, you did it not to me. Now here's the part that we don't want to deal with. I'm sorry that I have to personalize this. That I didn't want to deal with. What's the name of this message? Salvation, the hurting, and the connection to the two-house connection. Salvation, the hurting, the poor. I told you to use that interchangeably, and the two-house connection.
Yes.
Now this is frightening, and how I could have missed this. And how you could have missed it. How anybody could miss it. Okay, it's beyond me. What I'm trying to say to Hila is every once in a while, it's good to check into the Assyrian medical centers. You know why? Because all the ones in Zion haven't been opened yet and built. But you know something? You say, well, see, Rabbi, you were wrong about the Assyrian medical centers. Not really, because if you read Jeremiah 9, it says this. Now, I'm doing this to be cute, but it says this. Is there no balm in Gilead that the daughter of my people are not healed? And then Yahweh goes right into talking about running to Assyria for healing. It was the same problem back then. Go home, not going to do it today. Go home and read it. Okay? The reason we go to Assyrian medical centers, for lack of a better term, is the ones in Zion not only are closed, they don't exist. And Yahweh says, is there no balm in Gilead that the daughter of my people are not healed? He's saying, yeah, I understand. I don't really like it, but I understand. You understand what I'm saying?
Amen, amen.
And we will, but my difference is the attitude. Not that those are not Assyrian medical healing centers. They are.
Yes.
But it's not bad to visit them if the ones in Zion are closed.
Hallelujah. Oh,
Hallelujah.
Oh, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Then he will answer them, saying, Truly, I say to you.
Ay, Padre. Padre, gracias.
joy is unspeakable and full of glory. Insofar as you did not want to least of these my Israelite brothers, you did it not to me. I don't see sacred name brothers here. I don't see Shabbat keeping brothers. What about the Ephraimite brothers who are stuck in the Sunday system? I don't see it said don't visit them. I don't see that. See, that's what I was doing. But not because I was mean, not because I hated people, or I just lost it. You understand? I lost it. So, you know, and so, even with the videos. I can't watch that video, Rivka, return it to the store. Why? Because it uses Jesus. Okay, so it uses Jesus two times, but the rest of it is 90 minutes about Yaakov and Yosef and Ephraim. Nope, I don't want it in the house. Take it out of the house. It's treif. So you can't watch videos. You can't watch DVDs. You can't listen to 99% of the songs. You can't hang out with everybody else because they use God and Lord. So I'm stuck with myself, the unholy Trinity. Me, myself, and I. And then I pull other people. In other words, there's a time to fight.
Amen.
Over the deity of Yeshua, over the writings of Shaul. If you don't believe Shaul wrote under the inspiration of the Ruach HaKodesh, you're not a Bible believer. I don't know what you are. That's a place to fight. That's a place to draw the line. But not over someone who is not coming to the true names yet.
Amen, amen, hallelujah.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh.
Look at verse 46. And these are the frightening words. Listen to this. These, meaning the goat nations, those on the what? Left, will go into everlasting punishment. Why? I don't understand. The tzaddikim will go into Chayim eternal. Notice, listen, that the salvation aspect of helping the hurting cannot be ignored. There is something redemptive in the human nature and experience. There is something redemptive vis-a-vis personal salvation when we help the hurting in Israel. And who is Israel? Just about everybody. Yahweh left us with no excuse. Who's my neighbor? Yeshua says, don't waste my time. If 5 out of 6 people on this planet have Israelite blood, you're going to wonder, well, I wonder where the escape clause is so I don't have to feed the Israelites. Everyone you meet on the street probably has some connection to the historical people of Israel. And when you minister to them, to the hurting, not only are you being a restorer of the ancient past, you are not only are you ministering to Yeshua directly himself, not only that, there's some, it says here that those who don't visit him, who don't minister to him, who don't clothe him, and he's saying, not me, I'm talking about the rest of my Israelite brethren, will go to eternal damnation, punishment, or hell. Whoa. See, we don't see that. I've never been willing to accept that. I've never wanted to accept that. That the Catholics, who are wrong about just about everything, are going to heaven. And we, who've got all the doctrine correct, or most of it, we might not be saved. Well, can you explain this to me some other way? I mean, am I missing anything here? There is a connection between helping the helpless, the hurting, and being eternally saved. It says it right here. Those who refuse to help his brother, Yeshua said, come on, I'm using a metaphor. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about my brother. If you don't take an active, not a reactive, but an active approach to the hurting, there's an everlasting punishment. Now, what is that punishment? Well, you could argue that doesn't mean hell, but guess what? Look at verse 46. Whatever that punishment is, it's everlasting, and it's the opposite of eternal life. The only thing that I can think of that's the opposite of eternal life is eternal death. Now, that may not square up with your theology, frankly. And it certainly doesn't, to this day, it really doesn't fully square up with my theology. I can't see it that people who do good deeds to Yeshua's brethren, but don't have a personal relationship with Yeshua, are going to go to heaven. And those who do have a personal relationship with Yeshua, but are so self-centered, they don't help the hurting and the afflicted, and choose the fast that pleases Yahweh, that somehow they are going to be saved, and the other ones are. hard theology, but it's there. You got to deal with it. You can't ignore it. There is a connection between helping the hurting and having eternal life. How far that connection goes is for you and I to explore. Do you understand?
Amen.
So maybe we should be less judgmental and more proactive in doing Isaiah 58. Now we're going to go quickly for the sake of time. Yaakov 1:27, James, Yaakov 1:27. Pure and undefiled service to Abba Yahweh is this, to visit the fatherless. You want to be religious? Here's how. Visit the fatherless, the widows in their affliction, and to keep yourself unspotted from the world. So all the sacred name groups, the true name groups and the total groups, like to think that they keep themselves what? Unspotted from the world. But are they visiting the fatherless and the widows? I knew a rabbi, and I'm not going to mention any names, especially if we talk in the local area. I won't even give you a hint this time because this is too sensitive. Who boldly made a statement, and I remember this, it bothered me even as a young Moshe. How many remember I was a young Moshe before I was an old Moshe? Now I'm an old fakakta Moshe. But this bothered me even back then. It says, I don't go to hospitals. This is a rabbi talking. I don't go to hospitals and go to nursing homes, and I let my staff take care of that. I'm not called. Now I'm quoting someone that if I were to mention their name, there's not a person in this room that wouldn't know who I'm talking about. My staff goes to the nursing homes, the senior assisted living facilities, the hospitals, the sick beds. I'm not called to do that. You know my response is? Get the heck out of the ministry and go start plumbing.
There you go.
Because you don't have the heart of Yeshua. You may have the title of Yeshua, rabbi, but you don't have the heart of Yeshua. It would bother me if there was someone sick in our congregation or someone that needed visitation and I just ignored them and said, well, I'll send Daryl. I'll send Tehillah. I won't go. I'll find somebody. I'll find somebody.
You could have done that with Cherry.
That's not... a lot of people don't know a lot of things about it. That's not the way to go. That's not the heart of a rabbi or a leader or a believer. Forget about a rabbi, a believer. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. It says, James says the opposite. Yaakov says, pure dedication to Yahweh is visiting the fatherless, the widows in their affliction, while they keep themselves unspotted. Did you see anywhere here in Yaakov 1:27 where it says, visit the sacred name brothers and the returning Ephraimite widows? Does it classify what kind of widows? Does it classify what kind of orphans? Catholic orphans, Lutheran orphans, Baptist orphans. It doesn't clarify or classify what kind of orphans, right? It just says go. That was my mistake. That's our mistake. That's the mistake of a lot of religious people. They try to classify who is deserving of mercy. The answer is everyone and no one. Excuse me while I blow my nose. Hello?
That's it, Rabbi.
Well, I am so spirit-filled nowadays that I just can't sing songs next to the Jesus people. Okay, so you'll miss their music, you'll miss their anointing, you'll miss their gifts, and you'll sit home all moped out and depressed because there's no one left for you to hang out with. I don't see this classified. Well, Messianic widows, Nazarene orphans, it doesn't say that, it says anyone. You know why? Because most of the time when we find a widow and an orphan or someone who's hurting, based on the covenant of Yahweh and the promises of Yahweh, they are already what? Israelites. So you have no excuse. Who's my neighbor? All the Israelites. Who are the Israelites? All your neighbors. So the neighbors and the Israelites are the same people. So any neighbor you go to is an Israelite. Just about. Are you getting this? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Yahweh left you without excuse. He filled the whole world represent the seed of Israel. So everyone you visit, you're ministering, you're repairing the path. You're a Gadar Perez. You can't sit there under the anointing and not move.
And at the same time, we tell them they're Israel.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Yaakov 2:14. What does it profit, my Israelite brothers, if a man says he has faith, emunah, and has no mitzvah? Can emunah save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food,
Amen.
and one of you says, "Oh, Baruch Hashem," not in the church, Merry Feliz Navidad. We're more spiritual than that. We don't. We said, "Oh, Baruch Hashem Yahweh, brother, things will get better." And you've got 6 cars in the garage, and you're an antique pig. I won't mention any names, like Jay Leno. And some poor folks don't have a single automobile to drive. But you and your mama got 190 in the garage.
That's a goddamn shame.
And none of them have more than 1,000 miles on them. But Baruch Hashem Yahweh, bro. And you say, depart in shalom. Shalom! Shabbat shalom! I love it. James is Jewish. No Feliz Navidad. Shalom, shalom. Yeah. You too. Me too, you too, I too. Everybody go for shalom. You go for shalom, I go for shalom, he go for shalom. Everybody Shabbat shalom. You guys are so freaked out in your head. I have people coming up to me on Tuesday saying, Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
Nah, that's bad.
That's bad. Every time they see me, they're so conditioned. Shabbat shalom. Come on now. How many have done that? Come on. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. That happens. That happens. It's okay. It happens. And one of you says to them, depart in shalom. May you be warm and filled. But you give them, listen, verse 16. But you give them not those things, worldly, physical things that are needful for the body. What use is it? Even so, emunah, if it has no mitzvot, is dead, being alone. Emunah without mitzvot is dead, being alone. Verse 18. Yes, a man may say, you have emunah, I have mitzvot. That's nice. So the church says what? Hello? Talk to me. Church says what? Faith. Emunah. I have emunah. But someone else says what? I have mitzvot. That's the Jews. See the 2 houses? You see the 2 houses? Angela, you see the 2 houses? Yes. One group says emunah. The other group says mitzvot. Yaakov says, no, show me the emunah with the mitzvot, by the mitzvot, not without the mitzvot. He says, I, as a Nazarene Israelite, will show you the emunah. I won't simply declare the emunah, I'll show you the emunah. You know what Yahweh's talking about? You know what Yahweh's talking about? Where's the beef? Yahweh's saying, where's the beef? You guys talk the church talks a good game of faith. The Jews talk a good game of Torah. Yahweh says, I'm looking for the emunah that does the mitzvot. And the mitzvot is not just showing up for Pesach. Right? The mitzvot is bringing people who are poor and can't afford Pesach and feeding them and blessing them with Pesach. Hello? We'll see that in a minute. So the Jews say, Pesach. Ephraimites say, what? Faith, brother. Faith, brother. Faith. Why not do both? Why not have Pesach and invite the poor people who can't pay? And the poor people have no money and can't bring their children. Go back to Shmuel 23:11. We'll go quickly now. Shmuel 23:11. For the 7th year, you shall let the land rest. What do we call that? The land of Israel rest. What do we call that? Shemitah. You shall let the land rest, and it shall what? Lie. I'm getting so anointed here, I can't even see straight.
Don't feel bad.
Hallelujah. Oh, I hear you, brother. I hear you. I hear you. But blessed are your eyes, for they see the spiritual things. The 7th year shall it rest. Lie still. That the poor of your people may eat. Listen. That the poor of your people may eat. Shemitah is for Yahweh and for the poor in Israel. Remember we talked about Shemitah 4 weeks ago? It's Yahweh Shabbat. The weekly Shabbat is man Shabbat. The 7th year land Shabbat, Shemitah, is Yahweh Shabbat. But notice in Exodus 23:11, Yahweh says that the Shemitah is not just for me, but what? For the poor. You know why? You know what happens the 7th year? On your farm? In your land? You know what happens? You can't eat, but it's time for the poor to go and take what's theirs from your land. What a mean Yahweh. What a mean Yahweh. The poor don't need any food stamps. When it's done according to Torah, there's more grace than food stamps. And you let that land alone for the 7th year because it's feeding time at the OK Corral.
Blessed be your
Now on Shavuot and on Sukkot, for the other 6 years, the poor and the ger cannot steal your food. They can bring a little basket and pick at the corners of your food. But on the 7th year, they don't get the corners. You get nothing. You trust me and let them eat bountifully on that 7th year. You think about the grace of the Torah.
That's right.
So is it enough to say, I'm Jewish?
So what?
Yo soy judío. Or je suis juif. I am juif. All right? Or is it better to say, I will obey the Torah. I have so much faith that I don't work for the 7th year. I trust Yahweh for my provision. And all that Yahweh is producing in the 6th year is enough for the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. Not just for me, but for the poor folks who always come to my land on Shavuot and on Sukkot just to pick at the corners. You know why Yahweh told men the chuk was chuk, a commandment that's not understood? You know why Yahweh told men to wear payas? To remind us of His grace, that during the Moadim the poor can come and pick at the fields of the rich and those who have abundance. And religion, look at those Jews. Look, they're wearing those funny. Ain't that the stupidest thing you ever seen? Why don't they just shave? Well, you know what the payos are? They're Yahweh's reminder that in the Moadim the poor come and pick. The Hebrew word is corners, payot. They pick at the corners because for those 6 years the poor should not starve. And the 7th year, you give them your land. You let the land rest. I'll cleanse it from blood defilement. And while I cleanse it from blood defilement, the poor are having their feast. The poor are having a literal field day. The field is theirs. The day is theirs. They're literally having a field day.
Yes.
And you're showing your emunah by letting them eat your field and trusting me. Grace didn't start at La Cruz de Jesus. Grace started when Yahweh was created.
Amen.
When was Yahweh created? Never. That's right.
Amen.
His chesed is leolam. Go ahead. From eternity to eternity.
Amen.
That's why he's the Ein Sof. And his characteristics are the Ein Sof. Vayikra 19. Is anyone enjoying?
Yes.
Very good stuff.
Let's try that again. Vayikra 19.